the Eye of the Swarm, and, well, if you are watching this video, this is the point where I show you footage that is not from my review of Shadow of the Colossus. Now, we will look at the other 16 after this cutscene. That is your only hint before the real battle with the Colossi. And I'm going to just show you its introduction scene proper now. Behold, the second Colossus, Quadratus, or the Mammoth, by the curators, even though he resembles a bull than a mammoth. And now let's go on to his basic appearance. He looks more like a bull than a mammoth ever did, though this picture doesn't demonstrate much of it since he's a bit far away. I'll get one that's a bit more closer. Here's a good look at his sides, and as you can tell, you can actually see the horn that is broken off. Interesting. I have one last picture before we do the gameplay, and it will be on his backside, and here it is. And yeah, my favorite thing about this is its tail is actually made of rock, and I've noticed it has 3 stripes on it, but I didn't really notice that. Anyway, that is it with its basic design. Now let's move on to concept art. And I'm just gonna say outright, the one on the left looks very, very different from what we got. But the one on the right does give him a more cow look. Not necessarily a bull, but definitely cow-like. Though, I have to admit, the idea of his face on the left being a gigantic shield could work. Maybe I can make it into my own original design. But these are pretty interesting. And if you want to look at these without this video, it's very hard to find. Anyway, now, on to size comparison. He is around 16 meters wide, 32 meters long, and around 24 meters high. Interesting. So far, the largest Colossus we have found. So far, we will encounter much larger beasts. Now, let's move on to his name. Quadratus. And, well, it simply means 4. 4 legs, pretty simple, though I think the mammoth could work if he was more elephant-like, but I would personally name him the bull, since he resembles more of a cow or bovine than any sort of elephant-like creature, though an elephant-like Colossus could work, though it's not what is shown here. Anyway, I've been stalling this long enough. Now, on to the fight! In order to battle him, you have to hit the glowing parts under his hooves. You can do it either by going behind him while he walks, or the more common way, and the way I will show in this video, wait until he eventually comes up close to you, where he will attempt to squish you. And when he lifts his hooves, just wait until they are shown, and then shoots the glowing weak point, and he'll eventually fall down, and you can get onto the fur on his shoulder, and then just climb the fur to the first weak spot, which I'll show you now. Oh yeah, and the music changes when you climb on top of the Colossi. Isn't it cool? And I think the music on the last one is just as good. As we climb up here, I'll show you where the first sigil is. As you can see here, you can see the first one is on its rear, while Valen in his hard mode does have 2. All the other Colossi from this point on have multiple sigils. Quite interesting, don't you think? Anyway, after you finish stabbing this one, go to the head and finish this monster. Now, I'm going to show you something that I didn't show in the last video, as soon as this Colossus stops shaking. The stone idols. Here we have values. Yes, I said his name correctly this time. And I think it looks pretty good. Now let's go on to Quadratus's. And I think Quadratus's is pretty good too. Though I think the arm, chest things, whatever, are a bit misleading. But otherwise, I think it's fine. Now, let's move on to the remains of Quadratus. As you can see here, there he is. Now, let's have a closer look at that body. Now we see his corpse, and, well, I think most of it has rejoined the sands than anything else. I mean, look at this. He is one with the rock. Only a few features are left. Now, let's go... No, not gonna do that. Let's go and do something rather interesting. Remember that cave he destroyed? Well, let's go in it to see what it holds. And there's not much, other than this little coin I found, which will unlock a secret. Now, let's move on to my redesigned. And I have to say, I like this one more than the first one I did. It gives a lot more details to the original, as well as being, well, something original. I gave Quadratus a mouth, longer horns, and possibly more natural proportions. There are some elements of buildings in here, but not really. Anyway, I actually enjoy this. And if you're wondering if the glowing points of his feet are still there, well, they're shown right here. Though I think this picture of him standing up is a bit ridiculous, but I think it's pretty cool. And if you see right here, you can see the glowing parts underneath his hooves. Pretty cool, don't you think? And if you're wondering where he is, he's in a place where a mountain is called Glen. Oh yeah, and one last thing. I actually have the broken off horn starting to grow back. And that is everything with this Colossus. Well, not everything. I didn't cover the recover thing or the hard mode version of this boss, but I do not want to cover those now. If you want, I can cover those in a separate video, but that will take some time. Anyway, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's watch this beast die!